give you a countdown. All right, no countdown. We're live.
Hi guys, how are you? How are you, everybody? We have a full house, a full queen council tonight. I am Dr. Valencia Sylvain Stinson, and I am here with some heavy hitters. This is the Counsel of Queens, which means let me backtrack a little bit. On your live screen, you see Counsel, COUNSEL of Queens. We did not mean council, COUNCIL, which is the gathering. We meant the advice. We meant the wisdom. We meant that we are here today to bring it all home intergenerationally. So hi again to the Counsel of Queens. I'm so excited tonight. I really am. So I'm here with author Nikki Riggins, who is our reality check author, and this is, if you did not know, this is the Reality Check Empowerment Zone. So say hi, Nikki.
Hi. Hello, everybody.
That is probably the quietest I have ever heard her in my entire existence.
And I know somebody's calling, so give me a second.
Okay, so we're gonna let her get the somebody in, because there are a lot of somebodies that are waiting to pour out this evening. So I'm gonna shift the lens to Dr. Latoya. I'm so excited to meet her. We've been fellowshipping in the atmosphere. And one thing about God, one thing about good spirits, one thing about likened loves, they literally attract. Yes. And so although I had never met her in person, I met her on the phone. We do like things. And so today I'm excited. I feel oh my God. to get to meet you. So while we are bringing people into the room, I wanted to talk a little bit about the purpose of today. And then, Doc, I want to give you a minute to kind of tell us what you do. And because I believe it's the gift of me. I believe that's what it is. Isn't that right?
I did send that out. Yes. Look at you.
I love it. Okay, so today, the Counsel of Queens is really about queenship in its infancy. Mm-hmm. It is about how you go, how we went, how all of us get from right here to right here. And it is literally about the defining moments. Like it's a definite moment in time when you realize that these things are setting you up for who you are destined to be. And it is that moment in time when you exhale and you say, I am going to take the journey. And it's like a tapestry. It is a painting. It's a picture. So tonight we are painting. Actually, hey guys, we are painting. See, this is my I am. We are painting our I ams, and we know that's one of my favorite guys. My favorite dude, God. He's the great I am. Okay, that is who he says he is. And tonight we are painting our I ams.
Yes.
And they're going to be in all different colors. So there's a whole queen kit that we're going to go over that lets us get to our I am. But to put it succinctly, tonight is about the journey. And it is about the picture that is painted that shows who we are as individuals and all the brush strokes that it takes in this life to get to where you're going to be. So while we are talking, and while we are feeling and maybe a little bit of crying and revealing and definitely a lot of teeing, I got to say that carefully, teeing, while we're drinking our tea, we're going literally, and we're going to talk and we're going to listen. Yeah. So Doc, tell us a little bit about who you are. And so Nick, I'm going to start with Doc and let her tell a little bit about who she is. I'm going to tell a little bit about who I am, and you're going to tell a little bit about who you are. Because Doc, what we're going to do is we're literally going to put the question out there in a minute about how you got to who you are. So tell me who you are now.
Yes.
And
So
then, yeah.
yes, just like God, a lot of different things, right? I am wife, I am mom, I'm entrepreneur, I am therapist, I am educator in a sense, I am pastor. I'm so many things, but the crux of who I am, honestly, is a deliverer, honestly. And I don't take that by any means from Jesus, number one, because he is the ultimate, right? But
Yes.
what I embody, though, is that, and what my desire is, let me say it this way, is always that people are changed no matter how I encounter them. So whether it's a conversation or whether it's in therapy or whether it's in church or whether it's walking by in the grocery store, whatever it is, that something about them literally changes to where they're no longer where they were, but now they're closer to who they are.
Because we actually are. You're right.
Are.
We
Exactly.
are. I'm an English major. I hear you.
Yes.
Girl. I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
I am goodness, I would say those same I have all of those same titles actually. Um, well, the wife part successfully divorced a few. That's a whole new conversation. But yeah, so not a wife, but have been a wife.
There we go.
Am a mommy, which is the proudest assignment I've ever been given. But definitely, I am a dream keeper. That's who I am. That's who I am in every sense of the word. Is that I am always looking for the formula to aiding myself and anybody that is within the rumble,
Yes.
be able to hold on to those things
Yeah.
that continue to grow them into their excellence. So I am determined to be excellence in the written, spoken, and the delivered word in
Yes.
order to do that. And yeah, just keeping those dreams and really identifying those things that could interrupt them. So that's who I am.
Yes. That's good stuff.
Come on, Nick.
This is me. Okay, so who am I? Depending on the day, depends on the hat that I'm wearing. I am a mommy all days, every day. Soon to be grandmother. Keep checking my phone to make sure it's not today. Um, but I am an entrepreneur. And while you all have the encouragement side of the world, I am the reality side of the world, and I'm the make it happen. So you can be as emotional as you want to, but can we make it happen? I'm the make it happen.
Yeah.
And the other side of this whole wonderful thing is in my journey, and we'll talk about that later. Each one of you and the other person that's coming on has played a part of in my journey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you all have known me since before child was thought about. The first child was thought about, and she's 20.
Yeah.
So we have definitely, it's been a while. Here she is. Let's add.
Yay.
Hi, Queen.
Queen.
How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, ladies?
I am excellent. You are just in time to tell us who you are in your journey of queenship right now. This is Raquel Blackshear, correct? This is our nurse on deck, and and a queenly nurse at that, which I love. So tell us, so we've been talking about just queenship, but we're going to talk a little bit more about the journey later on, Raquel, how we got there, how we got to where we are, because it's always the evolution part. But right now, at this particular juncture, who are you in your queenship journey?
I am still discovering parts of it, still understanding the responsibilities and the authority of that queenship. I am learning how to take dominion and how to dominate those areas that have been ordained just for me. So that is in business, in healthcare, and also in fashion.
I love it. So you can shoot us and boot us.
Right. Literally.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not mad, and I would like a pair of boots. I'm gonna send the sketch to you, and they need to have Dreamkeeper walking down the side of my leg because I will be walking in that dream.
Right?
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You guys heard it first here on the first annual or first. Is it annual, Nick, or is it?
So no, this is going to be a series of conversations. This one is just for the counsel, the advice of queens. The next one is the advice of kings. And then we have some that are combined with the kings and queens, because if you know me, you know that there have been some kings that have had to step in and reel me back on in the word. Yes. And we thank them.
Yeah, but that's the reality, though. That's the reality of the healing of the world. I truly believe it, because it is intergenerational missingness that's happening. So let's talk about the process. This is the process. So for you guys at home, let me tell you what came to my door. It was a packet. Okay, I'm on the floor because I'm comfortable. And as I told Nikki, girl, my dress is saying something. So hold on one second.
That dress.
Saying something. I'm working on it. I am working on it. And that is one of my major points of learning, is the I'm working on it part requires grace. And I'm in the middle of that.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm being kind to myself about it. Okay. All right. So this is what happened, came to my door. So anybody that knows me knows I love a good bag. So this is the bag came to my door. In it was my I am declaration, which I knew that I was going to be able to paint. And I got these cool markers, the paint markers.
And
Y'all got the same thing. Come on, we're just letting the people.
yes.
Okay, all right. And then, look here, the easel part, stop playing with me. That right there impressed me probably more than anything else in the whole world.
Did you show that at the bottom right there, the Counsel of Queens? Is that nice?
Yes.
It's so nice. So we got the Counsel of Queens. You're right. I forgot that the Counsel of Queens and the reality check. This is a zone. And if you know, again, I'm a wordsmith. So if you know anything about a zone, it is quartered off. It has definite boundaries. And there are things that will and will not happen inside of a zone. So when this becomes your reality check zone, this means that the counsel, the good, solid advice that is going forth, that's what is going to keep you right in the middle of going straight to your I am. Straight to your I am. All right. So we got our tea, which I have on my. I brought a tea warmer because I'm not playing with y'all. All right. So we got our cups. I am a queen.
Yes.
And the tea came in it, right?
Yes.
And because you write the vision down to make it plain that he may run upon and read it after it's written upon the tables. We got a book.
Yes, we do.
To write down the vision, because counsel advice sometimes needs to be written down so you can take a look at it again. Okay. Sometimes take a look at it. Because I'm a dream keeper, I got keys. I got keys, my keys. Y'all got keys? Yes. So here is a really good point of discovery. My keys mean different than Dot's keys.
Yeah.
Than our head nurse keys, than our reality check empowerment keys. And so everybody gets a chance to define what your key is. Is that incredibly neat?
It is. It is. And our experiences get to define that, right?
Experience, but they don't get to define us.
Nope. Sure.
We decide what success is defined for us. We don't let society or culture decide that. We decide what success looks like for us.
last thing in the kit. Exactly. I agree with that. I agree with that. Did you see that? Everybody show their flowers? Because guess what's going to happen with the I am? We're going to bloom.
Mm.
It's inevitable. We're going to bloom. You can't, there's nothing that can hold back you from blooming. So as we talk, we are going to also be painting as we listen to each each bit of counsel from each queen here today. And the question now becomes, I'm sorry, this kit that you just saw, it is going to be available for those who come to the next session. Is that correct?
Correct. So every reality checks conversation with the Counsel of Kings, Queens, or Kings and Queens will have a kit of activities and of an activity that we'll be doing while we're chatting. But for all of the ladies, you will always get a crown. You will always have your mug. You will always have your keys because different keys unlock different things. So you always have to have different keys.
That crown is serious. Did y'all check that out? That thing's serious. And I was telling my daughter, I was like, it is heavy. And then it dawned on me, heavy is the head of he that wears a crown. But God, it's such a beautiful crown.
It's gorgeous.
And that's how life is. So brought a little bit of light. Nikki and I were talking about this, how we brought in the generations as well. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
This is me and my daughters. So the very important thing about this moment in time is that we're going to go from this generation to this generation to look at the corner where Nikki is. That is.
This is my aunt Dolly, who passed recently in Fort Lauderdale. And she was the matriarch of our family. After my grandmother, she was the oldest. And she was the queen. You couldn't come in town and your first stop not be at her house. Wow. If you chose to make that decision to let somewhere else be the first stop, once you got in town, off with your head. Because she played, no, you had to come and you had to pay your respects to Auntie Dolly and spend time with Auntie Dolly and hear whatever it is that she wanted to give you. And she always had something to give you. Always.
Don't let the generation fall.
No.
Don't let the generation fall.
So and this is so cool. And I was mentioning this earlier. Everyone on this live has known me from a very, very long time, longer than I was an adult, pre-adult Nikki. So they have been
Atlanta Nikki.
Clark Atlanta Nikki. Raquel knows me as Cincinnati Nikki, Little Pinky. Before I was my Nikki, I was Little Pinky because I look just like my mother. And Dr. Latoya knows me probably as Little Nikki because I was Kim's little sister while they were at Spelman. So when I was just getting into high school and I would come over and visit, that would be over at Spelman. And then I ended up at Clark Atlanta. So yes, Raquel has known me probably since I was, good Lord. I don't know. I don't remember not knowing her. So that
I love it.
Wow.
Memory of.
I love it.
Yeah. I had to. Yeah.
At you.
Yeah.
I love it.
At me. And yeah. So everybody here has been able to see the journey. And I don't know if each of you know, but in the Reality Checks book series, there's a thank you of the Counsel of Queens. Each one of you is listed in that series of the Counsel of Queens for each one of the book series.
I love it. Oh,
Raquel, don't you cry?
Yeah.
She about to start.
Do not cry.
That's Raquel. There's power. Cry. Look,
Rocky will be out there in tears.
straighten up your crown and cry, girl.
Honored.
I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna tilt the thing down.
I love it.
If you can see my bow, that is that's Dr. Latoya's. Where is yours, Raquel? Oh yeah, I see it. All right, and Nick. Okay, all right, yeah. All right, so
these were made by another queen. These were made by Diane's Brooches, which is owned by Charisse Gordine. And she is an African American entrepreneur in her own right. So everybody who gets the kit will get the brooch for the ladies. I forgot what she's making for the men, but she's making something for them as well.
And so before we go into our next segment, I really just wanted to say, what is the importance of the kit? The importance of the kit is putting you into the zone, because every zone has a set of tools. So as we go into our next section, we are talking about the tools that led us to our I am as we're beginning to paint now. So I'm going to ask each lady the question, but remember, guys, in your next, those of you at home with us, sitting on your nice couch and hanging out with us, those of us, you that are watching, the next time when you have your kit with you, you are now officially confessing, not affirming. Affirmation is different than confession. You are officially confessing with your mouth that now you are in the zone of becoming empowered. All right. So here's the question. And you can and give us at least, I'm going to say one, but maybe two defining moments that led you to your I am, and give us one lesson. So that's a good mix, I think. A defining moment and a lesson, or kind of mix that up in there, that led you to your I am. So you told us who you are right now. And now we're going to talk about how you got there. It can be a great moment, or it can be a not so great moment, but something that helped with you getting to your I am, because that's the question on the table. How do you get to your I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's start with Raquel. Let's start with you.
One of my most defining moments would be going through a divorce. And I say that because one of the biggest things that I learned was how I lost my power to choose, how I gave up myself, how I lost who I was, trying to build something that I don't think I knew or had the wisdom and the training on to know how to build it. And so what I did was I completely lost myself, and I lost my power to choose whether or not, is this what I want? Is this what's best for me? Is this person treating me the way that I feel that I should be treated? I just let myself completely go. I forgot who I was. I forgot my foundation, and I took more than what I should have. And when I walked away, I said, I will never lose my power to choose again. So that was one defining moment. Probably the biggest defining moment was caring for my son, who was diagnosed with cancer at 6. He passed away March of 2019. And I learned so much through that moment and caring for him. And one of the biggest things that I learned was you choose how you go through. You can decide. You can decide that. I remember being angry at first, and then I remember after him having several tumors that I had to, me and my support team, and we had to nurture him and try to bring him back to health. I remember at one point in time, I began to say, this time, we're going to go through this differently. This time, what we're going to do, we're going to find the joy in this. We're going to find the beauty in this. We're not going to go through this one depressed. And that is what we did. That is what I did. I figured out I could choose how I went through. And that was a huge moment for me, and a huge moment for when I took care of my patient. And it actually was a booster for them. And they would say, "You don't know what I'm going through. They were mean, they were nasty. You don't know." And I would say, "I know more than what you do. I got a little boy at home right now getting chemo." And they would jump back and they would say, "My day ain't never okay." Then they caught themselves and they said, "It ain't as bad as it." I said, "That's exactly what I want you to think. Every time you think about that this is it, that you don't want to continue, you think about this nurse that walked in and was still taking care of you with compassion and with excellence. And her son was at home getting chemotherapy."
I love it. Right. So we're gonna say I can choose is what I heard.
Mhm.
I can choose. That was very, very much a defining part of your tapestry. And tell us one thing that would keep somebody from thinking that they have the power to choose.
Their perception, your perception, and how you view it, how you define it, how much power you think you don't have, as opposed to focusing on what do you have the power to do. What can you do? Don't focus on what you cannot do, but what can you do? What do you have the power to do?
Okay, now Raquel, now hold Nikki's hand. Okay, so now Nikki, tell us as a reality check. She just gave you a lead in to what happens now at the stage of reality check in such a situation.
Well, in such a situation, the reality is you can't change what's going on. But as she said, you can choose how you're going to go through. I can't change my son being diagnosed with cancer when he was diagnosed with cancer. But what she could do and what she did do was choose to allow him the opportunity to worship through it. She let him determine how he was going to go through.
Okay, now give me one practical thing that somebody could do to change the perception.
The changing the perception is understanding the power that you have in choice.
Okay.
Once you can embrace that choice is powerful.
Yes.
My choice is the most powerful thing that I have, because if I choose to be joyful, if I choose to, it's part of my I ams.
Yeah.
I'm too weak to be no. The scripture says I'm strong.
Yeah.
Okay. So no matter what, that's the reality.
Okay. So the reality is you could use a scripture. Is a reality you could use the opposite of what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You absolutely can. The reality is you can use the opposite of what you're doing. The reality is that you can, if you within your support circle, you don't have the tools that you need to go through this, to walk through this the way you want to walk through it, you have the choice and the power to reach out to somebody completely out of the box.
Okay.
Of what you might think of. Okay. You know, and we do that all the time. You and I do that all the time. I'll call you when it's something that I need to be soft about or gentle about, because I ain't got a soft or gentle bone in my body. And everybody here laughing knows that's not who I am. But if you need somebody to go to war for you, I'm the person that you call.
What you say?
Funny.
When when it was time for, after her son transitioned and it was time to get to do the homegoing service, she called me and she said, "I don't want all of this and I don't want all of that." And I said, "Well, what do you want?"
Right.
Identify what you want. I know what you don't want. Tell me what you want. She said, "Oh, I want it to look like a birthday party because he's having a party in heaven."
Yeah.
I said, "All right, cool. Let's do it."
Yeah.
While she was on the phone, I sent her while we sitting there talking, I just went ahead and created his homegoing invitation with balloons and everything else. And it was because that's what she said she wanted. And it was
so the changing of the perception is actually a journey of not only your thought, but actual steps that move you from how you're seeing it to where you want it, the opposite of what you're doing.
Yes.
correct.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you guys for getting married right there on the spot. I love it. Okay, all right. Doc.
That's really Doc's territory because they don't come to me for that kind of stuff. They go to Dr. Latoya K. Williams.
I love it.
Nikki will tell you, what do you want? She's a little bit more kinder and gentler.
So Dr. Latoya, I'm gonna tell you. So we had Nikki and I had this great just like this great meeting of the minds when we were talking about that softness and the difference between the softness and the that demeanor that she says a warrior spirit. And so I feel like you might get into this tussle a little bit sometimes. Do you think that people think of you sometimes as not a warrior because they sense you as a softer spirit?
Oh, I know she is.
Do you think that?
Absolutely.
Do you think that you had to learn it? Well, I'll say it like that. I definitely had to learn that I knew that I was a warrior, regardless of the perception of softness.
For sure. Oh, absolutely. I did. And what taught me that was my experiences. My experiences, like I said before, it shaped who I am. It shaped the prayer warrior that I am.
Right.
So had I not had those experiences, right, and several of them,
right.
I wouldn't be the prayer warrior that I am. And I very much recognize that.
Okay.
And I think that people that don't know me, they perceive, and they're like, oh, she's so sweet.
Right. And not tear your eyelashes off if you're not.
Exactly. Until they get to know me, and then they get to ride me until they come into my office as a therapist, because I'm not always
there it is.
Sweet, right?
Right.
Reality, right? Because I definitely believe in reality therapy, right? And so I think that people, but honestly, to tell you the truth, I think that that's a part of who I am. And sometimes I say quiet storm, how I look is not always what you get.
Absolutely.
And I think it's part of my anointing to attract people. And
absolutely.
They don't know what they got until they get it. And then it's like, oh, snap, I can't get out, right?
Absolutely. I love it.
So I will say that I definitely embrace that now. That doesn't bother me anymore when people, I have people overlook me. I have people, kind of like, kind of wave me away, that whole experience until I'm able to be who I am in whatever that looks like, whatever arena. And then it's like, oh, hey, it's like, okay, now you want to talk to me. Okay, great. But I've come to embrace that because I realize that I'm a conduit. I am a conduit. That is all that I am. I'm a conduit for God to use me in any way, right? Whether it is providing therapy for you or whether it is just talking to you and being real with you about life, about how your perspective needs to change. And you can sit here and wallow in this spot if you want to, but that ain't gonna change nothing that you're going through, right? So let's work on what we can change. So yeah.
So what was your? I love that. I amongst my sister friends, I have a tiny nickname of Bougie Gangster. So I definitely that. Definitely.
Yes.
So what I did want to ask you was give us that defining moment of when you discovered that the hard turn towards your I am.
So I have a couple of them, and I'm sorry, I'm dropping stuff over here. But I definitely have well, let me say several of them, but the ones that kind of came to mind when you asked were one, having to really deal with people's perception of me when that really wasn't who I was.
Right.
Right. And so people, based on experiences or whatever, had a perception of me in a time, right? And I realized I couldn't change that. And that was very challenging for me. Because I was always a pleaser of my parents. Like I was a good girl, you know, like I did everything right, you know, like, and I had pride in that because whatever, Nikki, I know, right? Not your story. It's okay. But I had pride in that. So for me, it was like, okay, as long as I'm doing things well, right, then I know that I'm in your good graces.
Right.
Life came to teach me a different lesson.
Right.
That I can do well, and God can know for sure what my heart is, obviously, as He knows, right? But people might not always see my heart. And God was like, what are you going to do if they never see your heart?
Absolutely.
And so that was a really, really defining moment for me in terms of, hey, God was like, listen, what you going to do? You going to be who I called you to be? Or are you going to wallow, right, in this space of you can't fix it, you can't change it? He said, who I've called you to be, who you are is not predicated upon everybody agreeing.
Right.
And so that was a major, I'll never forget, I had to, honestly, I was preaching a sermon, right, in the face of people who I knew weren't hearing me. And at that moment, I was like, I understand how Jesus felt. I understand how He felt, right?
Yes.
But I had to press through that. And that for me caused me to strengthen my muscles of the I am, honestly. And because for all of my life, I had defined myself by other people. So I was John Culver's daughter, and I was Kevin Culver's sister. And then I was Jerron Williams' girlfriend, right? And then I was Jerron Williams' fiance. And then I was Jerron Williams' wife. And then I was Bishop Williams' wife, right? And then I was J2's mom, right? And the list just kept going on. I'm always saying something. And it was during that time that God was like, you are all of those things, but you are so much more than
Absolutely.
that. So much more than that. And that was during my time where I began to see exactly who I am. And all of those are blessings. Those are my gifts, right? To be in those roles for sure. But I understand that doesn't define me. It's a huge part of who I am, but it doesn't define me, right? Second thing, and this is a little bit more, very much, I mean, all of these experiences for me were lessons, and I'll get to that in a second, but I had a miscarriage. So after my son was born, maybe when he was about 4, we were pregnant again, and I had a miscarriage. To make a long story short, number one, we were somewhere in a service and someone had prayed for Bishop and I at the time, just about the pregnancy, right? And they were like, this pregnancy is going to, it's really going to bring you into a space where you understand what fathering and mothering is like, and, you know, all this great stuff. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And so moving along, I started to miscarry. I didn't know, I had never had one before, didn't know what it was, but I was like, something is not right, you know, and started the process. And I remember going to God saying, but God, you said, I remember you saying that this baby would be, right? And I went down the line. And then God was like, what did I say? And I was like, you said, and then I went back to that moment and I realized God never said the baby. He said this pregnancy.
It's pregnancy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that was a reality check moment right there. It was for me. Now, moving along a little bit, I was in 3 emergency rooms in 2 different states. Like this, it was like a real big ordeal. And I eventually passed it in the toilet. And I hate to be gruesome, but I want to explain my experience. And so through all of that, during that time, I had really been struggling with God in terms of who I am, really. And I was struggling with Him about this part of me that I didn't want to be, like mentor, mother, coach, right? Because at that time I was like, God, who am I? Like, who am I to tell somebody what they should do and how they should be and all this stuff? And He said to me that if you do not say yes to me in this, that this miscarriage is what will happen to so many different people.
Mm-hmm.
They will die before they have the ability
Right.
to be born.
Oh my.
And for me, at that moment, I was like, "Golly, like, God, why you gotta do me like that?" You know what I mean? Why? Really? But for me, it became who I am became much more of a serious, purposeful undertaking for me. It definitely became about, Lord, you said, right? Just like those words are written in your scripture, these words are written for me that I must be this.
My heart.
They are. I gotta be. I gotta talk. I gotta speak. If I see it, I gotta share. Like I have to, because I can't risk that others might fail because I didn't do. Right? Definitely a defining moment for me.
I was walking through the house the other day, and the girls, I have one baby going off to college, and I have one that's already in college. And so I was like, oh my God, people are telling you it's going to be an empty nest. I'm like, first of all, it's not a nest. There's nothing empty about this. I know it's going to be plenty of life. So but now I'm realizing that baby Christian is not going to be here. And I'm just crying and just talking out loud to her. And I was like, God, I am so gonna miss her. He said, you are, but there are so many girls waiting for you.
Ooh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
said, you're gonna bring Chris and Summer in, but there are so many girls waiting for you. He said, stop crying. Stop crying. And he literally calls me V. He's like, stop crying. You have so many girls waiting for you. So I understand that push that says, this is who I am. It's not even, Latoya, it's not even it's not even like it's like choice about this thing.
Say that one more time. You what now?
Like, I don't have a choice about this thing.
I don't have a choice. Yeah.
I don't have a choice, because there's no plan B for this thing.
No, and I think that that's how serious God is about it, and how serious we must become in terms of purpose, right? Understanding. And there is no thing that can deter me from my purpose other than me. I'm the only entity.
But how arrogant do I have to be to tell God to hold on? I mean, how arrogant do I have to be for him to tell me to do something, and for me to say, "Oh, hold on, wait just a minute, player. I ain't ready.
I can't do that right now.
I can't do that right now." That is idolatry, arrogance, for lack of wording. But it's a big statement.
But I think that a lot of women, and I hope they're watching tonight, a lot of women, that she said they are, a lot of them presume that what they have been through, what they're going through, and all of us have a story. Raquel shared part of her story, and I'm grateful to have been a part of that, and to see her, and to see God moving even through that. But so many women feel like this is so much bigger than what I've even dreamed that I could be, what I've gone through, where I am right now, my struggles, my problems. And I think if I could share anything with any woman, is that it's not. Yeah. If you could only step back from the problem and look at it from an aerial perspective, you really see that this really is the escort. It is the conduit to purpose and what it is that you're dreaming of and desiring and wanting, right? One of the things that one of my entities is Free to Be Me, and I started this like a long time ago, 2007. That seems long to me, right? But at the time, I wasn't at no I am this, right? I was not there. And I was trying to get there, and there was so much that happened between 2007 and now you can't even tell me. I've done research, Dr. B, and research on my name. My name is Latoya, right? It is a derivative of Victoria, which means victory. I was like, now, if I had known this years ago, I think I would have looked at things a little differently. But now, though, because we know things when it's time to know things, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, God, I need to know this now because now my perspective has changed, right? So
And that lens.
I don't get, tired or afraid or any of that thing. I get all of that. But what I'm reminded of is my lens is victory, though.
My lens is victory.
If this is in my life and if this is presented to me, this is an opportunity for victory to be seen, for victory to be manifested, right? And when we can change our perspective to realize how powerful we are
Mhm.
of our source, then the things that, come on, the keys, yes, that we have, and I want every woman to know, every man, everybody that's on here, like there are some keys that we have that we've not even discovered yet.
Scratch the surface.
Ah, man. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I can keep going.
No, you did exactly what we asked. You did exactly, and what I thought was interesting is that um, we have. Well, I'll say I do, and I know that it is very common that we really have a piece of everybody's story a little bit along the way, some type of way. That's the relatability of God's promises.
Yeah.
I have two T-shirts, Raquel, from Divorces. Two T-shirts, two. Okay, all right. Okay, and there was a time when I felt some type of way about that because I too am a good girl and was
Yeah,
going to have
sure.
6.5 children, and my husband was a coach, and I was going to be raising them at home, homeschooling, all that. I had the whole little thing down. Had already named.
Come on.
I had named them and everything. And so when I got to this is this is our prayer book, Everyday Prayers for Everyday People. In the foreword of this book, the story talks about how I went from a housewife to a single mom of two girls because my journey tapestry has domestic violence in it. Um, my husband was
X.
afflicted with that guy. I said my husband was, but he is my ex-husband. Um, but definitely that story gave me a perspective
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
perspective because here I am, this joyous girl
Yeah.
who has on the other side the flip side of abuse,
Yeah.
miscarriage,
Mhm.
rape, all of these things that nobody would think
Yeah.
Here.
would empower. And because when you meet me, so my life challenge was when you meet me, because you think I'm playful and I'm having fun, that she must not be as smart as she thinks. She must not be as, she must be kind of weak minded. She must be kind of,
Yep.
she must, there are a lot, and then the stereotype, oh, she light skin, she got a lot of hair, she must not be, she got a Coca-Cola bottle going on, she must not be. All of those stereotypes
Yes.
are what would have sought to take away a key from me. So my defining moment came when I realized that I am everything. I am a poet. I am an author. I am. I can paint. I'm funny. I like to laugh. I like to lay. I'm sitting in the middle of the floor right now, literally, and there is a white leather sofa over there. But I wouldn't. I'm gonna sit there when I want to.
Yeah.
So the moment of saying nobody and nothing else gets to define, not my age, not my color, not my rank, nothing gets to say to me who I'm going to be at this exact moment.
Yeah.
And if I want to run out there and jump in that bounce house with those children and then get up and do the sermon that you just asked me to do, that is who God
Yes.
empowered me to be.
Yeah.
So those defining moments for me came with the whole picture coming together of of trauma,
Mhm.
uh, of abuse, and processing that against the picture, against the image. And one moment that I remember this very day, we had left my house, and my daughter was 2. One was 2 and one was 3 months old. And so I had this, and this was, we left because that was the last day with my husband. I was terribly, terribly broken. My eye was swollen. I mean, this was crashed in, ribs bruised, everything. So we moved from my house, my daughters and I, to my mom and dad's house. And my daughter would say to me, "Mommy, please don't, I don't want to look at your face. Can you just turn this way?" Because that's how badly I was at that. And I was getting ready to do her hair, and we would fold the scarf a certain way. And so I put the scarf down, and she said, "Mommy, don't look this way. I'll just do it." And I said, "Baby, I've never taught you how to fold that scarf. Let mommy do your hair." She said, "No, Mommy." She said, "I can do it." She said, "Because I watch what you do and I do what you do."
Wow.
Woo!
Wow.
So in that moment, doing what I do,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
became very, very, very real for me and very important in my journey.
Yes.
So that those are moments for me, and just that whole journey is bookable and in the making right now. So
Yes.
I would say, yeah, the leaning tree. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, Nikki. I saw your little eye go up. Yeah. So
When I do what I do.
yeah, I watch what you do and I do what you do. So that speaks to who I am. That speaks to the generation in back of me, and that speaks to me looking at the generation in front of me.
In front of me, yes, absolutely.
Yes. Do what you do, not what you say.
Do what you do.
Yes.
Do what you do.
I have an 8-year-old. So I have a 29-year-old now and an 8-year-old. And
hey, that's pretty neat.
That's pretty versatile. Yeah.
And
I like that out of the box. This is hallelujah.
Yes.
I didn't think I could have any more, so I never did anything about it. And then boop, and then boop, and I said, "Oh my goodness!"
I love it. It is a goodness. It's a goodness.
Yes, and so I really, as you get older, hopefully you get wiser, and some people don't, but I try to do that, and I began to really have to make some really important life changes for her. Because I had her when I was older. I was 42 when I had her. And I was like, "Lord, so then I said, again,
yeah, you say yes, all of that. All of that.
So here again is that, okay, how are you going to do this? Are you going to be upset?
Yeah.
That you're starting over. How are you going to perceive this situation?"
Right.
And she pushed me into making some life changes, with my health and my eating habits and exercising, because I said, "Lord, I want to be able to say I've done what I can do to be here as long as I can be here for her."
Yeah.
Because I work in a field where they're coming in and they have all these health diseases, all these comorbidities at 35 and 40 and 50 years old, and some of them are already in wheelchairs. And I don't want to do that to her. That's not fair.
I love it.
My daughter. What would be the thing to do for me, I felt, was to do what I felt I could do to try and live healthy and be there for her, to support her, because I was older when I had her and had no intentions of having another baby at that time in my life. But here she is, and I'm going to do what I need to do for her. So it took me out of this selfishness and pushed me into being more selfless, so that I could help train her and help
Yes.
teach her some things that I wanted to be able to do for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you before we get to Nikki, two things that I've heard as running streams. One is perception, and I've heard a lot about choices. So I'm gonna ask you, Raquel, to give us a one-liner. Give us a one-liner of your, I'm gonna say blanket advice. I'm gonna say your blanket advice. Your blanket advice for let's do the generation above you. Blanket advice for the generation above you. What's your counsel?
Um, deepen your intimacy with the Lord and develop a prayer life like no other.
Okay. And do you think that is impactful for the perception of the generation above you?
Oh, absolutely. The more time you spend with him, the more you become like him. And we become who we think we are. And the more I know, for me, the more time I've spent with him, the more he's changed who I thought I was, or what I thought I wanted, or what I thought was good for me, or what I thought I should be doing. His desires began to become my desires. His will began to become my will. And I began to be able to rest in a way that I had not ever been able to really rest, because I knew that I was walking uprightly before him. And he said he doesn't withhold any good thing to those who walk uprightly before me. And so developing that intimacy with him is crucial to sustaining your life and to fulfilling your purpose.
I love it. You bring to mind, my mom taught me this poem. I have to live with myself, and so I want to be fit for myself to know. I want to be able, as days go by, always to look myself straight in the eye. I don't want to keep on a closet shelf a lot of secrets about myself and fool myself as I come and go into thinking that no one else will know the kind of person I really am. I don't want to dress up myself in sham. I want to go with my head erect. I want to deserve all men's respect.
Yes.
In this struggle for fame and stuff, I want to be able to like myself. I can never ever hide myself from me, and I see what others may never see. I know what others may never know, and whatever happens, I want to be self-respecting and conscience-free. Myself by Edgar Guest, and it feeds right into your telling. Talk to yourself. Deal with yourself with God. Yes, and that's gonna. I think it keeps you young. I just have to say that I do. I think it keeps you young.
Absolutely.
I think it keeps you young. So, Doc, I'm going to ask you to give a one-liner of counsel to the generation below you.
One line, huh? Okay. I would honestly say
hard to do. I gave you something hard to do. I'm sorry. Okay. 2 lines.
2 lines. Okay. I'm long-winded, so I can do a run-on sentence now. If I had to say something to the generation underneath me, right? Us. I would honestly say probably similar, and I think it applies to every generation. Like, if you don't understand and relish in your relationship with God, then you will forever be lost.
Yes.
He is the constant, right? And I understand that the generation below us is, and we're talking younger generation, right?
Yes.
Right. A lot of are not churchy per se, right?
Right.
But I think about this when I think about my 20-year-old self, right? My 25-year-old self. I wish I would have known that as long as I stay in him, I'm gonna be all right.
Yes.
Hands down. I wish I would have known that then. as opposed to seeking affirmation from so many outside sources outside of him and even outside of myself. And so I know I'm over my two my two lines, but
You're good.
But if I could say something, I would say, I know that churchiness might not be your thing, but God has to be the main thing. Like,
Yes.
And
for the generation below you, you know what I would tell them? Believe that you are excellent right now. I was so doggone cute when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 2200 years old. I looked at those pictures, I was like, girl, you were snatched. That girl was so cute. But listen, because of the trauma, I didn't know it.
You didn't know it.
Yes.
I didn't know it. So I tell my daughters, catch the moment. Know that you are great right now.
Yep.
Because when you look back at these pictures and you process what you were thinking, it's going to trip you out.
And that's so good, though. I love it. I love it. Whatever, that takes me to whatsoever state I'm in.
Yeah.
That's not just an external state, right?
Yeah.
Even in my formative years, I need to be content there and know that I am all that, right?
I'm all that.
I am great. I am powerful.
Yes.
I'm not
wanting to blow up that mirror because I really hated the mirror for a long time. Stop playing. Don't even look at me, Nikki. So
I'm gonna go back to painting.
So we're coming to you because you're gonna tie this and put a bow on it. So I would talk to the ladies right in the middle. That's who I would speak to, and I would simply tell them to live. Shut up complaining.
Yeah.
Stop looking behind you. Do not be afraid of what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Doggone it, just live.
Just live. Yep.
Because if you got 20 more years, 30 more, you better do something with it rather than just 20 it and 30 it out.
Yes. Right.
You got 40 more years. And one of my friend girls told me, girl, I got more behind me than in front of me. Well, Ninja, I don't know what you're doing. What was in front of me, we about to give it.
That's right.
Listen,
I'm about to give it every single thing that I got because I have done my civic duty. I have done my mama duty. I've done my daughter duty. I've done my wife duty. I have done my duty.
Yes, absolutely. And we waste time thinking, right?
Girl, we done thought ourselves out of life.
All the way out of it.
All the way out.
I agree. Yeah.
I
love it.
Live.
Yeah.
Just live. Because you do not get this day back. Every freaking day.
That's right.
Who is our Nick, who is it? We have only just a minute. We have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon us. Didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to us to use it. We must suffer if we lose it. Give account if we abuse it. Just a tiny little minute. But eternity,
yes,
it's in it.
Yes.
Benjamin E. May. Okay. So so we got this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So ladies, we have journeyed. We've made the choices. We've talked about perception. We've talked about actually being who you say you are, or actually who God says you are. Latoya, open up that door to who God says you are, plugging into him and who he says you are. And in my journey, just the doing. Just not letting procrastination and hesitation and you not understanding that you belong in the room.
Yeah.
So Raquel, you belong in the room.
Yes.
Dr. Latoya, you belong in. Jennifer Curry, you belong in the room.
Yes.
Miss Barbell, Miss Vicky, you belong in the room.
Yes.
Because we can get so that we are afraid a little bit. It's not a big fear, so that's why you can't locate it. It's like a whisper. It ain't no holler, okay? It's a whisper that says, maybe you might not be up to it.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe you might not measure up to the rest of the ladies in the room. Maybe they might find that you don't know how to do exactly all of what you said. Maybe. And then it's Satan.
Call it out.
That is best.
Yes.
And anybody that tells you he doesn't have a best is a liar. He does have a best. It is so much less than God's best.
Yes.
Hold on.
It is.
Right.
But it is, he does have a measurement.
Yes.
He was an angel.
Yes.
Come on. So
I
go. I'm sorry, Raquel, go.
I am now saying to people that I speak to, you are not a guest. You have your name on the seat. You ain't being invited. You belong here. My name is on a seat. I am not a guest. This is not an invitation. I belong here.
Because you're an heir.
That's right.
That is what I really have a beef. So this is for our next King's one, Nick. I have a beef when a guy calls me a queen and then open the door. Boy, please.
Listen, I'll tell you, I'll jump in and tell you. So there, I was somewhere, I forget where we were, PG, and somebody had just said that, and and I stood there at the door, and she was reaching for the door. I said, "Don't touch that door."
Right.
We're gonna make him show that that's what he says. Right. If that's what he wants to call. We're gonna stand there. Yeah. And she was laughing at me. She said, Nikki, you gonna, because it was the fighter in me, not the, was like, no, y'all gonna make you do this. But I had to remember, I don't have to fight to be the queen that I am.
You don't.
I am.
Definitely. And that's the last point I wanted to lead in with you, that there's so much difference in feigned confidence and God's assurance.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow. Yes.
There's a huge difference. I went to this poetry reading one day, and my friend guy was doing a poem. The name of his poem is "It," and it talks about, just that unseen factor that you have that draws people to you. And he said, if you believe you have it, raise your hand. And a lot of ladies in the room raise their hand, and he said, if you raise your hand, you don't have it. He basically this somebody TK said, this is not an invitation. You are you are not a guest. So she was repeating you, Raquel. So his point was, you never have to broadcast when you have Godfidence. If you have Godfidence, you don't have to broadcast it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
When you know who you are, you don't have to make a broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just have the liberty to be whoever you are. You're not typecast, but you have the liberty to be who you are.
Yeah.
Free to be me.
Free to be me. Free to be me. And so Nikki, we're going to lead into your journey, and should lead us into where we are in the empowerment zone. So give us a little bit of your journey, and then tell us about the empowerment zone of reality checks, because you are putting the bow on. We just went all the way through our I am.
Well, my journey is not much different than anybody else's, to be honest with you. And all of you all, as I said before, have played a part in my journey. I tease Dr. Latoya K. Williams all the time, because I say, I know I keep her in her prayer closet. And I know when she has prayed for me, because my
Funny.
mouth won't say what I really want, what my mind is saying that I need to say.
Thank you, Lord.
And so I know, and I'm like, she must have been praying. Can you stop praying so I can just say what I want?
Funny.
But I realized, like Dr. P, I call her PG. So that's just what it's gonna be. It'll be PG. My name also means victorious, but my name means victorious spirit, and that is what Nicole means. So Nicole, and it also means, so for me to have a victorious spirit, I have to be able to be a warrior, which means that I have to, that difficulties are going to come, fights are going to come, things that I have to war through are going to come. But what I have learned in my journey is thorns do have fruit.
Yes.
And the rough parts, the ugly parts, the things that hurt, because thorns hurt.
Yeah, they do.
But the reason the logo is the rose, and it's 2 different colors, is because they're 2 very different sides to what I've had to go through. The painful side and the pretty side, the friendship side and the cut off side. There's some things that I had to cut off because they weren't part of the pruning of my life and my queenship of something. Everybody can't go.
Yeah.
Everybody can't go on the journey with me. Some people weren't supposed to be there in the first place. I decided I wanted them there. God did not ordain for them to be there. I just decided I want it, so I'm going to do it. And
print up tickets.
Yes. Yes. And unfortunately for me, you know, I've learned that I have to own my stuff. That was the hardest thing that I had to learn. Was there were some things that happened to me, but I had I made the choice to remain bitter about what happened because it was more comfortable to be bitter than it was, because I know what that felt like. I know what angry felt like. I know what hating your guts felt like. I knew how it felt to be able to tell you off anytime I saw you, but I didn't know what it felt like to forgive you. That was uncertain. That was unfamiliar. And I don't like unfamiliar. I like certainty. I don't like change.
Why don't you
change
why don't you like unfamiliar? Go into that part of reality checks. Why don't you like what's unfamiliar?
Because unfamiliar is unknown, and unknown I can't control. I can control what I can control what, but if I can't control unknown, and I don't like, and there's certain things that if I know what it's supposed to sound like, or if I know what it's supposed to sound like, it needs to sound like that. If it doesn't sound like that, we got a problem.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my life, I need to know where this is going. I need to, so I can plan accordingly. I am a planner. And so for things to not, I'll map it out 6 months down the road, and then I'm done with the mapping out. Now I'm just trying to figure out the steps to get where I'm trying to go 6 months down the road. But unfamiliar means that I don't have control. If somebody else is drawing this map. So my map looks like it's all over this way. And I was like, no, I was supposed to go to point A to point B.
Choose me. Choose me.
Choose you. That's you.
Call on me. Call on me.
Go ahead, Dr. B.
Question. Did you ever have control?
Oh,
never.
Wow.
I thought I did. And the only time that I actually had control was in one of the books is called Trapped in the Belly of the Whale, called Bitterness. When I chose to remain bitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I lived in that bitterness. I stayed there. I knew where everything was. I knew how to maneuver. But once I had to come out of that, after you're trapped in the belly of a whale for so long, it doesn't smell so hot when you come out. So things were not right.
Hello.
Yes.
Things were not right.
Let me tag on to that a little bit, because I also come from the perspective that you had to, even though that was your choice, God already knew, I believe, what you would choose, right?
Mm-hmm.
And It was all a part of his formula, if you will. He needed you to know every bit of, like you said, that bitterness. You needed to know that. Can you hear me okay?
I can't.
Okay. You needed to know every bit of that belly, right, of bitterness, so that when you came out, that those you could sniff bitterness around the corner.
Yes.
You could see it, right? You were able to identify it, right? And so you needed to know all of that territory that you came to know, so that those who were in it, you could then bring them out.
Yeah,
You could,
that's
yeah,
that.
I know exactly where you are. I know it. I know. I can look at you and tell where you are. You know.
That
And
Yeah.
I would tell somebody in a heartbeat if they ask, oh,
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. I'm not going to stay here in bitterness with you because I can't do that. But what I can do is tell you, this is what this looks like. This is what's going to happen if you stay here.
Yeah.
But I can't go back here with you because I cannot do that.
Yeah.
I can't live there anymore.
Yes. That was the, I wanted to make sure that we really separate mission movement, which is what you were talking about, when God is really shaping you. That's mission movement, right? But then there also is a real place of rebellion.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I say that. I'll admit it. There's a rebellious side of me that in that moment I knew exactly. So I tell this story all the time when, well, some people know, some people don't. In college, I made the decision that I wouldn't step foot in another church ever for anybody, for any reason at all. But I was singing a gospel choir. Now, how silly was that?
Look at that.
But I didn't. I would go to Sales Hall. Right. I would go to King Chapel. But going and then going to actual churches, that was just something that, because I was in the gospel choir, but I wasn't going to church.
Yeah. Right.
So that was my rebellious stage. But I also realized that it all had to work together.
Yeah.
It all had to work together for my good. It all had to work together for my purpose. It all had to work together for what I was supposed to do and what I'm supposed to be doing. Because like I said, I wear a whole lot of hats. Depending on the day, depends on what hat I have on. Right. If you catch me on a Sunday, I'm doing sound. But I hear more than just sound. But if you catch me during the week, it could be working with a client, it could be working with the children, it could be all types of things. But all of it works together for my good. All of the divorce, because I too have the two t-shirts and the mugs and everything else, and thank God I'm successfully divorced. And I say successfully because I'm not bitter. Mm-hmm. I am not bitter. I realize that it still worked together for my good.
Yeah.
Because there was a lesson there for me to learn. Yeah. Now, once I learned that lesson and I saw, I made a choice. Mm-hmm. I didn't let God make a choice. I made a choice.
That right there.
And you still believe in love when it's over. Do I still believe in love at this point in my life? Yes.
So define that. So do I believe that people can love? Yes, I do. Do I believe in marriage? Yes, I do. Do I believe in marriage for me? Don't know about all that right now.
But that's part of the journey, and that's yeah. So we're transitioning into our wrap up stage, ladies. And one of the things that I thought about that to make sure that we reiterate is that the journey changes, and that you change, the journey change. So don't block. So that's something to say. A good counsel nugget is don't be locked in.
Yes.
To what you quote unquote were, or what people say you were, or you have done, or what you have been. Don't be locked in. So the journey evolves, and so do we.
Yes. Yes, yes.
It's and it's liberty because God's creative. There has to be liberty in your life.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even make sense that God would create a life that's all locked up. That's God.
But that isn't God. That isn't who He is.
That's not who he is. Because he's
Right.
freedom, right? He's
That
the God
is freedom.
and
Right.
liberty.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we have the liberty to evolve into, which is why, again, that, like you said before, the who I am now, it's okay that I'm not the full formation, whatever that is, right?
Mhm.
I'm who I need to be right now on July 28th. What's the date? 28th?
Absolutely.
2020. I am exactly who I need to be right now.
Yes.
There might be an evolution on tomorrow, and there might be something different, and that's absolutely wonderful.
It's absolutely
I
wonderful.
said after my second divorce, a part of my journey was me really getting in God's face and saying, God, I need to know that this was my words. I need to know that you're not a chauvinist, because I've been taught, or it has been in my ear, you need a man in order to be able to do that, or you shouldn't do this without a man, or you shouldn't don't buy a house, because if you doing too much, ain't no man gonna have a reason to come. But I say, but they can do it, and so there's that. On my journey, it's been about 5 years now. That's where my focus has been. God, I need to know that I'm just as important to you as my male counterpart. I need to know you're not a chauvinist. I need you to prove all these people wrong that's telling me you're not going to do this for me, you're not going to bless me, that I'm only going to be half of a person because, I'm not. And so that's kind of where my journey has taken me. And there for a long time, I said, I don't think I want to do it again. I've been so content and so full of joy being single, and really developing myself and learning myself, and being more intimate with him, that I actually enjoy it. And I said, who says singlehood is hard? Why have we made? And so that's why when I said at first, I came on and I said, you define what success is for you.
Yeah.
And and you have to do that for yourself and not let anybody do that. For so long, I know I was told, a part of success is being married and raising children. But so are you telling me I'm not successful? And so my perception began to change about what I thought was success, so that now it's like, you define it and I'm defining that. And a part of that journey has been, I really want to understand singlehood. I really want to know what it's like, Lord, to just be your handmaiden, to just really bask in your presence. And I want to see what you want to do with just me. And if you decide to bring someone down the road, I may be more open to it then. But a part of my journey was, I just was not interested anymore. I really knew that I needed to heal, and I needed God to do some things just for me.
That's so beautiful. I love it. I love it.
And when people say stuff to you like that, just tell them Jesus was single. He wasn't married.
Yes.
And listen, or you can take my stance. I'm waiting on Common. He's my guy. He doesn't know that. So just, if you guys see him, tell him,
Okay.
come home, honey, come home. Right?
Wayne Johnson, The Rock.
So Mimi said something, Rocky. I'm sorry, Elder Deborah married. Marriage is wonderful.
Oh, I love this.
God ordained, but God has daughters, not daughters-in-law.
I love it.
Come on.
And so this is this is the second mom, my second mom. So when there are challenges and I need somebody to talk to at 2 a.m, I actually will call her. And she
Welcome
has
to the council.
Yeah, she is a queen for real. Mimi, I need to send you a crown.
Yes.
Yeah,
She
that was
is.
a council moment, Nikki. that line, that's a counsel moment.
That is.
That is, God has daughters, not daughters-in-law.
Mm-hmm. That's I love it.
Oh,
So we have about just a couple of minutes to
Yeah.
wrap up, and I wanted to put all of the flowers in your lap right now. Before we did that, I do want to know, I do hope that you get a screenshot of these crowns, because everybody has their crown on differently, and I've been so tickled during the whole time. Don't you bother that crown, Raquel. Don't bother that crown.
Right.
Because that's true. Everybody wears their crown differently.
Everybody wears their crown differently. I said, and we have to have a shot of just the sassiness of these crowns in their best. So just want to like put these crown-ish thoughts into your lap, and all of the roses and all of the journey, and take us out with a reality check and the empowerment. Oh, can we show our
Yeah, I'm about to ask for that.
okay, all right.
So one thing, one of the reasons why I picked this particular, I'm sorry, I was doing the screenshot as you requested.
Thank you.
I move a little quick.
Was I looking up? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were. I got you.
okay.
Yeah, I got this. One of the reasons why I picked this particular picture is because the I am is never really finished.
Oh, wow.
So I am, as you said, is evolving. So my I'm still painting. I'm still designing. Well, no, I'm not designing. I'm walking in what I was designed to be.
Mm.
And so I don't necessarily know what color it's supposed to be. I don't know what it's supposed to look like. I don't know what it's going to look like. And I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I'm okay.
Come on.
I'm okay with that, knowing what it's going to look like. Because his design is better than anything that I could ever thought of.
Oh, yes. Hallelujah.
If you told me almost 21 years ago, when I was having my daughter, having Jason, and being told that as a single mom, I'm not going to be able to own a home. I'm not going to be able to be successful. I'm never going to be able to, do anything that I want to do because I'm going to be a single mom. And so this single mom owns her own home. This single mom owns 2 businesses that are successful in their own right. But that daughter closes on her house on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Without ever having to rent a thing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know what rent was if it hit her in the face.
Yes.
And the reason that is because my key. I was able to recognize the keys.
Oh, wow.
And so I was able to pass on those keys.
Yeah.
So at 18, we were talking about when she was going to buy her house. Wow. At 18, we were talking about how to keep her credit in order so she could buy her house. Yeah. She would never rent. She would never. So no matter what happened, I understood that key and I was able to pass on that key. Yeah. So that is the whole purpose of reality checks and the empowerment zone. And the zone is to get you focused.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And where you need to be empowered, where I need to be empowered. These 3 ladies that are right here and Deborah Merritt, who is watching, empower me all the time. I see Music Mom here too. She also empowers me. All of these women empower me. But Deborah has had me, Deborah Merritt has had me since Raquel has known me. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time that I'm the other daughter. I'm a cool mix between her 2 twins. Yes. I'm a cool mix between Don and Dion, but it's okay for me to be me. And that's one thing I learned. I learned that as a child, but as an adult, I was reminded by Dr. Latoya K. Williams that it's okay. I am free to be me. And who I am is enough.
I love it.
Who you are is enough. And who you are is necessary.
Yes.
You are the puzzle that's missing for somebody else to be successful, for somebody else to get free, for somebody else to unlock their keys. Yes. You might just have the key to unlock their keys. That's right. All you're supposed to do is unlock their keys and give them their keys and they can go.
Right.
But the ladies that are sitting before you right now are the ladies. You all have unlocked keys for me. You know, I have laid on Valencia's floor and cried till 2:00 in the morning, and got up and baked cheesecake. Yeah,
it was good too.
What's good about that? And this is what we find, I think, in purpose. For my birthday, we talked about this a little bit. Is that becomes mutual.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As we have unlocked for you, you have unlocked for us.
Absolutely.
And that is the definite truth. We definitely have, everybody has a Nikki story. So my proposal for the next Queen Council is that you bring your favorite Nikki story.
I don't know if I can tell mine.
I have so doggone many as well. That definitely will be part of.
I know.
Part of the conversation. Definitely be part of the lineup.
Yes.
All right. So our journey has brought us to. We've traveled through personal journeys. We've traveled through keys that we can give others about how we went from, and we actually told the story in flashback, which I love, because we started with who we are now, and we flash back to parts of the journey along the way. And I think that's important, because what it says to anybody is that the who you are is not the who you are destined to be.
Mm-hmm. Your who you have been has no.
It doesn't define you. It doesn't lock you in. And I think that's so important, to be able to say when you walk away from the table that I'm still writing. I'm still writing. But the defining part is whether or not you begin to write more authentically and integrity. And that integrity comes from, as Raquel said, comes from what your truth is. It comes from your relationship with God. It comes from your understanding of living and dreaming. And then what is the reality that is going to keep you powered up so that you can stay in the zone that keeps you going towards I am furiously and offensively. And you just
you are
intentionally. You are intentional,
yes,
relentless about the pursuit.
Yes.
So there are going to be more reality checks. I'm going to do a short commercial for everybody. So Raquel, tell us what's coming up for you. What do you have coming up, so we'll know what to look for with you? What are you doing?
I just just finally finished up my staffing agency, so that's coming. But one of the things that is coming is God's Dang Girls, that I will be launching soon. Let God put his dang on you. Dang meaning his wow factor. It's so big you can't even define it. And so that is coming soon.
I love it. Thank you, Doc. What's coming? What's coming for you?
That's a good question. I just launched my my podcast, which is called Becoming Well. And it is essentially a safe space for people to kind of grow and dialogue about their wellness journey and what that means. And that is from a holistic perspective. So in addition to, of course, being a therapist and a business owner and a hard worker and everything else, again, my podcast, I know, right? Thank you so much, Mama Deborah.
I hadn't met her. Can she adopt me?
I know.
She will. And you'll be sitting on her floor like the rest of us. Just
let's have a personal Zoom with Mama Deborah. You know what I mean?
Yes, we should.
You know why? But you know what, Doc? That is absolutely what has to happen, because when you are a giver, you do need to stop and be given.
Yes, absolutely.
You have, but you have to become intentional, because we don't do that naturally.
We don't do it natural. Absolutely. So we got
And
to
she
be.
is somebody that I would definitely say needs
So
to be
Mama D,
seen.
we're coming to sit on the floor socially distanced correctly.
Right, correctly, right, exactly. But becoming well. But I also have some amazing mentoring classes, and nobody's really heard about this institute that is coming up
Wow.
very soon. Because again, much of what I shared in my story is that it's who I am, right? And so I'm so looking forward to walking people, yes, women, and men alike, because God has given me an anointing for men too. That's another story. Walking them through where they are to a place where they can function in purpose in the I am. So I'm looking forward to that.
She said, "Come on now." She said, "Come on." So I'm looking forward to everything.
Yeah.
Poetry is Weekend and Chill every other weekend on Facebook. Catch us live music out of the living room, having a ball with that. Working on the YouTube channel for just Kaleidoscope Love is the book that is all poetry. And launching, I was using the prayer book earlier, launching everyday prayers, and we're going to do everyday prayers for everyday people. We're going to relaunch it, Nikki. So
Okay,
some
let's do it.
groups, so we can do some prayer groups with
Yeah.
Yes.
definitely a wellness journey. Been on a wellness journey with physically detox and chill. Those are my teammates where we're exercising. Yes, we are talking to you, Miss April. Come on in. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to everything. Dream Keepers is just burst forth with overstanding that every single thing. So this is it for me. This year, every single thing that God gave me, I'm going to use every single thing.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I'm gonna use every single thing, from poetry to art. I'm gonna use
I love it.
Thank you.
every single. Leave me alone, Nick.
Thank you. Please and thank you. That way I don't just have to show up at your house and tell you, all right, come on, it's time to get to work. That way I don't have to.
Right. She has a tendency to do that, just show up and be like, okay, you need
Come on,
to
let's get it done.
and yeah, I love it though.
I love it. So just look for Dream Keepers on the scene, and the goal is to be excellent in the written and spoken word, so that others.
You are excellent in the written and spoken word.
Yes, I am. So that others can continue to open up their doors. That's the goal. That's the goal. So, Nick, we know that there is another reality check empowerment. We said with Kings coming up.
Yeah, so Counsel of Queens is on August the 4th, 7 p.m. We have on that one, my daddy is coming. Now, we're not letting him off the farm. He's going to stay on the farm, but daddy is going to participate. Yeah, we're going to keep daddy. We're keeping daddy in Alabama. But we have some other, it's interesting because a lot of the men that are going to be a part of the Counsel of Kings are also the Morehouse men in my family.
Okay.
And my family, meaning not just my family that I'm born into, but my family that I have made my family. So we'll have a lot of them on, as well as some other people. And that one is speaking to raising our sons in the face of 2 public health crises.
Oh, wow.
And so they'll be speaking to that, and they're excited about that. And then there will be a Counsel of Queens and Kings every month, starting in September, going through March, because my goal is to have, because I have accepted that COVID has just kind of had its way with 2020. However, March of 2021, we will be having Counsel of Kings and Queens in person, and we will have our event, and we will have the councils together, and counsel being the advice of some kings and some queens that have poured into me, and that I am now giving the platform for them to be able to pour into others, because y'all are pretty dope at what you do. And I have accepted that is kind of my role in this. At this point is my village is so vast and my village is full of influence that I kind of need to share. I can't just be selfish and keep y'all to myself. I mean, I could, but it's not what God has asked me to do. So I have to be obedient, because I'm accepting that, the truth that obedience is much better than sacrifice. I don't enjoy the sacrifice. So I'm just going to obey. Jennifer is reminding you, PG, that you have a podcast, Becoming Well.
Yes, I said that. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. I think she just put it.
Okay.
Yes. Click on it in the link. And definitely join me. Tell me what you think. Give me some feedback.
Yes.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, I actually will be on TCT this Friday. So I would love for you to join me for Prayer on Purpose.
Yeah.
Yes. So definitely join me, DirecTV, or you can go online and join me at 2:30. I think I'll be on.
Okay.
Join me for that too.
All right, ladies.
Thank you all for participating. This has been a journey for me because Reality Check started off as a book. And really the book was me talking to me, reminding me, you chose to be trapped in this belly of this well. So own it. Now, everything that comes with it, you chose it. Yes, it was necessary and it all worked out for my good, but I can't be upset about it. And so after I dealt with that, then I had to deal with other issues. So as I have processed the lessons that I have faced through choices that I made, not choices that anybody else did or anybody else said, choices I made, things happened, but I made the choice of how to react. I did not respond. So I am, so each Reality Check book, and there are 2 more coming up, there are 3 more coming out of the series. There's 2 more that have to be written, but it is my responsibility, my ability to respond to any lesson and anything that is given to me. And I have that ability. It is within me. It's something that I was born with. I just have to choose to exercise that ability. So the books and then more Reality Checks, Empowerment Zone. You can find us at Reality Check Empowerment Zone, realitycheckez.com. But all of this wonderful stuff is up. And the links of the books are there. And then we also offer small business support, like what Dr. V was talking about, where I'll come in and sit down with you and say, okay, this is what you want to do. Here are the steps to get to do it. Even so far as to breaking down your time in your day. So most people only have 336 minutes in the day to get things done that generate income because we have other responsibilities. So once, that empowers you to use and to live in those 336 and make those that minute, that poem that you gave of those 336 60-second increments count as steps to getting you to the goal that you wanted to get to, whether in business. I do business now, the life journey and all of that. I bring in the advice of the queens that have poured into me. And so, that would be Dr. Valencia that I would send you over to, or Rochelle Blackshear, or Dr. Latoya K. Williams. I'll send you over there. But business, I got you on small business.
All right.
Yes, I have. Yes, Raquel, I helped Raquel with some of her stuff, and Dr. Valencia with some of hers. And I'm just waiting for Dr. Latoya K. Williams on her book. She has a book up in here.
I don't know if I'm ready, but praise God.
She has a book in her. It's coming. I know it's coming. Oh, and I also have to thank, we talked about Diane's brooches, and I have to thank Zashley McAfee. Zashley made our mugs, my shirt, a whole bunch of other stuff, our books. Ashley is the design coordinator for everything Reality Check. So,
and the best coach in the whole entire world.
She is a best coach in the whole entire world. She coached for Valencia with her daughter, and then she coaches for special athletes of Metropolitan Atlanta, also working with special needs children and getting them ready to get up on the stage, and they perform, and she does the whole thing. So thank you, Zach. Thank you, Sharice. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dr. V. Thank you, Dr. Latoya. Dr. Blackshear, I'm waiting on yours.
Exactly.
I'm waiting on yours. I know yours was coming too. Don't think I forgot. I didn't.
That's
Come
part
on,
of coming in and organizing, Doc. I'm telling you, Raquel, you can expect it. So I have an ending wish. I'm going to send us out with a little poem you can remember. Just a wish. The name of the poem is I ask God to kiss you. I ask God to kiss you for me today. Like literally, like to bow down and like blow his very breath upon your chest and soothe his anointing balmingly over your soul. I asked God to kiss you for me today. I asked him to look into the brown, the green, the blue of your eye and to trump past trauma and soothe your heart. To brave the distance and conquer the miles is nothing for a God our size. I asked God to kiss you for me today. And I asked him to allow his sight to graze your lashes so that your vision actually takes flight and you ride through dark as though you were riding on winged sunlight. I asked God for me today. And I asked him to hug you. I asked him to love you. I asked him to soothe your heart and warm your soul. I asked God to kiss you for me today. And I asked him to do for you, from me, what I would love, what I would just love, love, love to do for you anyway. I asked God to kiss you for me today.
Oh,
That's
wow.
my wish for you guys. That's our wish from the empowerment zone, that you feel all kissed up.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much for thinking of us and thinking for me. And it has been awesome being a part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Amazing.
Yep. So winding up the empowerment zone. Good
No.
night, everybody.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
Your picture.
Oh, my
I
picture.
am.
My I am has all the colors mixed in because I'm mixing it in.
Ooh,
Yeah,
look
I
at
love
that.
it.
I love it.
You got your screenshot, Nick?
Yep, I got the screenshot. We're good.
Beautiful.
So yes, so that is so yes, and our IAMs are still developing.
Oh yes. This is gonna be a part of my self-care. I'm gonna
I
continue.
love it.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we have ended the broadcast. Oh, nope, we haven't. It's still ending.